Hello everybody. It's been a while since I've been involved with No Glitches Allowed. A few years, lot of things have happened. But I'm back, if not as a runner, then hopefully as a host. This is Kirby Air Riders No Dupes, where we're going to be going through all tracks in the time trial mode with the stipulation that we have to use a different character and machine for every track. We cannot have duplicate characters or machines. And I'm not the best at this game. I'm a lot less executionally good than a lot of runners who've been playing since launch. I only got the game about a month and a half ago, so I'm a bit behind execution-wise, but what I make up for that is with the fact that I've been heavily routing this category. I've done a lot of the science and trying to figure out this category. And what you're actually going to see here is the first recorded run of a new route I've been testing out that I need to practice with. It's slower than my old route just because I'm not as good at it. My PB is about 31:48 in-game time, but with this route it's like 32:20. But yeah, let's just get into it. I don't want to waste your time. I don't know how long this will take in terms of not in-game time. So I'll just give an estimate later once I actually submit this video.
Kirby!
When I had to pull up the notes on my route, because it's been about a week since I played due to some life problems, and I was just starting to solidify this route.
Battle Chariot!
Yeah, there's a lot of little cosmetics for this game, which is kind of cool. I think I'm probably going to have a donation incentive where I let people vote on what hat to use. Although I typically like to go with the ribbon. So yeah, first level is going to be Fantasy Meadows with Kirby on the Battle Chariot. This level is overall pretty short, making it overall quite not that big of a priority to have your fastest vehicles here, and most vehicles are good here. So with vehicles, I feel like course matters a lot. Like in terms of making use of your specific traits. This is my worst run of this level ever. Wow, I'm rusty. I mean, I could still crawl it back. They good the last two, but yeah, we're like 3 seconds behind my usual right now. Yeah, this game has movement very heavily based on, like, boosting. But yeah, I feel like, so far, the important thing that matters when it comes to your character selection is like saving your faster characters for the longer or harder courses. Unless there's like a specific character vehicle combination where it's like a vehicle just synergizes super well with the character. While the vehicles are much more like focused on making the best use out of the map and like its specific vehicle features. Next up is going to be Noir Formula. This is an example of a character combination that's just really fast. Like with this vehicle, because Noir has one of the better top speeds, but less than a lot of heavyweights, but he has way better acceleration. And Formula is like the top speed vehicle. It's the drag race machine. It can't really turn, it can't really accelerate. It goes really fast, so being a relatively fast character with great acceleration.
3, 2, 1,
yeah, no, this was the easiest decision in terms of which rider gets which vehicle. Okay, so freeze here kind of helps with our turning. But back to explaining the boost. Yeah, killing enemies gives you boost, as does drifting like that. Most vehicles are also faster in the air than they are on the ground, although with something like Formula Star, you definitely want to be more grounded usually. Yeah, this is a level I actually have a lot of time save I can make. I'm not that good at this level. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not that good at any of these levels. I'm well behind execution-wise a lot of people. I have somebody who thinks I'm like way better than them, but no, I'm not actually that much better than them. I'm just way more stubborn. I did actually have a world record in this category, but my capture card glitched out and I didn't realize until I went to upload it to speedrun.com. Which is a shame, because I put a lot of effort into figuring out, like, the routing and practice for that world record. But then someone who's, like, way better at the game came along, so now I have to play catch-up, and that's exciting. Hopefully by the time we're in the speedrun marathon, I'll be caught up executionally. Although I am very rusty right now. This is probably going to be, like, over a minute behind my PB in terms of in-game time, which I don't actually have my in-game time set up right now. I didn't mean to do that. That loses a bit of time there. Yeah, as you can see, that's like 8 seconds behind my goal. Next up is Starman Wing for Sky Sands. So the thing with Starman is that he's really good at staying in the air whenever he gets airtime, and the Wing Star does the exact same thing. And it's the fastest vehicle combination for this map that isn't the legendary vehicles, which are specific vehicles designed for, like, in City Trial, you find all their parts and then you get this super good vehicle. And because you can't use them more than once in this category, you have to think a lot about which vehicle, which legendary vehicle you're using for which course. I mean, I say you have to think a lot, but I feel like Dragoon and Hydra were very easy decisions. Like, just mathematically, like, you can mathematically figure out what maps to use on those, use those for pretty much immediately. Leo's a bit more complicated, because for a lot of Leo's more course dependent, whether or not it's faster than a normal machine. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of places we can get speed, get airtime, which is what we want to be doing with this combination on this map. And it doesn't really, and it can be a bit tricky sometimes. This map is actually kind of tricky for me. Case in point, I went down a bit too early there. And I'm losing a few seconds every time I fail to get airtime. I'm like really bad at this. This is another one of those maps where it's like I need to practice at it. So I don't do that. Yeah, we gotta be careful not to absorb that naughty because he'll put us to sleep. So we'll just spin attack to get our speed boost from him. I should have done the spin attack a bit later, because the spin attack for most vehicles, there's one exception. Will get rid of your speed. I didn't mean to spin there. I have motion throws on for shake because I find that easier than doing the actual quick spin, but sometimes I do accidentally shake my controller. Next up is Marks on Paper Star. Marks is good in the air, Paper Star is just... Marks has good flight speed, Paper Star is relatively slow, but decently fast in the air, and more importantly, it's very maneuverable. I like that movement on it. Right now we're in the retro tracks. I like to get the retro tracks out of the way because they're shorter and generally less complicated. Although they're still very good tracks except for Beanstalk Park, which I don't like that much. But yeah, there will be some more complicated tracks. As we saw there, I tried to stay in the air just long enough to get a perfect boost. Because, as you see, as we're flying, we're getting our boost meter filling up, which will give us a bigger boost once we land, if we land, like, evenly with the ground.
Freeze!
Yeah, I fucked up a lot of movement there. I don't think my ice actually breaks that. So this is like a hard part. I only started using Paper Star for this map recently.
Sword.
I didn't mean to grab that. My brain just kind of broke.
Final lap. Sword.
After I record this run, I am actually probably going to do some unrecorded practice. Because I haven't played this game in like 2 weeks. It has been a long 2 weeks. Yeah, shake that to break through the ice and make that corner tightly. Get a little bit of airtime here. Jump down so we can get the airtime again. Do this. Try to improv a speed boost from absorbing the Bronto Burst. I knew I wasn't gonna land good. Try to get that speed boost there to save a fraction of a second. There we go. Okay run, considering I'm out of practice. I do really bad on this map normally without practice. Next, we're going to be using Waddle Dee on the Jetstar for Magma Flows. The Jetstar is actually my favorite vehicle.
Waddle Dee!
The whole thing with Jetstar is that it gets a big burst of speed as soon as it leaves the ground, so unlike the other flight-based vehicles, instead of trying to stay in the air, I kind of want to chain these boosts together. Just chain them from like getting airtime. And if you can't do that, stay in the air long enough to get a max power perfect boost. And it usually right before doing it again. So like right here. Most people probably don't realize you can get boost there because that doesn't really look like a ramp. Same thing happened there. My movement is pretty bad right now. Yeah, I just went hard to get left there because those rails have pretty big hitboxes, and you don't want to get rails because they're going to send you way far away from where you want to go. Yeah, we're going to get another boost here. We need a full boost there to actually get off that ramp. Yeah, this is like really fun in races, and unlike the other flight vehicles, I feel like this one's less picky in terms of what vehicles you want. Like, I think there's a lot of characters that work with Jetstar, at least in terms of racing perspective. That was bad, that cost like 3 or 4 seconds. But in terms of time trials, you generally want to use the lighter characters, typically Cappy. But Waddle Dee works if you want to use Cappy somewhere else. Starman and Meta Knight are also good characters. We're gonna get to Cappy, but he's basically like Waddle Dee, Bandana Dee, and Waddle Dee, but like better stat-wise. Like, he's like the extreme lightweight. He has like the best handling and like highest lift in the game, other than like Starman, who has a really high lift. Yeah, that is a very shoddy run of that level, not that good. In case the mic pick it up, no, I did not curse there, although I think with my mic quality it might have sounded like that. I'll probably refrain from using that phrase in the actual marathon, just in case. So the last thing I decided on before I,
Susie!
had to take my little break was Susie Shadow Star for Beanstalk Park, which I have not practiced. I just know the world record for this combination on this track is pretty good. And I can see why, because Susie Shadow Star is a really good combination. Susie is my preferred character, although I don't really like Shadow Star that much. Yeah, I think the way Shadow Star works, I'm actually not that sure because I only just now began, like, experimenting with it, is you get really good, like, boost of speed whenever you do, like, a boost thing. And then Susie's just really fast and has a propeller that lets her go in the air, kind of like this, and make use of her fast airspeed. And the boost on Shadow Star are pretty nice on this map, because this map is relatively automated in terms of grind rails. I mean, I don't actually know if that's the reason why the time is so good on this map. In fact, I'm only on pace to beat like my goal by like a couple seconds. But yeah, this map is my least favorite map in the game because it's just so automated. It sucks that I'm using my preferred character of choice on this map. Hey, they can make this map a bit less painful. From what I've seen, some of the okay, we got caught there. That's like a 2 to 3 second time loss. Some of the movement a time trial goes for with Shadow Star is actually pretty good. But yeah, Beanstalk Park, very automated. Susie's Shadow Star is good. Yeah, I can save like 11 seconds off that. Next up is Gooey Scooter. I've always used Scooter on this map in my testing, but I used to use a much faster character than Gooey, who I've since moved elsewhere.
Scooter.
So I need to practice this map just to start making up for my newfound time lost.
3, 2, 1, start!
Like, I'm not used to how Gooey handles on this map. Like, I used to go right there, but I'm not sure with Gooey if that's actually faster. Yeah, I think it's faster to quick spin if you're, not gonna be able to absorb an enemy and shoot it at another. Yeah, Gooey has the second longest inhale range thanks to his long tongue. I view him as like a discount Chef Kawasaki when it comes to this category. The Chef Kawasaki has the biggest range, and he's also a heavyweight, so he has that high speed. Like, Chef Kawasaki is the fastest time trial character. I mean, I think Rick actually has the most records. I mean, for specific vehicle combination we intend to use him on, yeah, Chef Kawasaki. Chef Kawasaki, where we put him, is very good. Wheelie Scooter is just your generic, kind of, it's like your, like, generic, like, high acceleration, high, handling vehicle. Good turn, you know? The interesting thing about how acceleration works in this game, this is a vast oversimplification because we really don't know how it works, but generally speaking, if you have a lower acceleration stat, then whenever you get a boost of speed, that boost will last longer. You'll get a smaller boost, but the speed will last for less time. So, Wheelie Scooter, even though it's decently fast, doesn't actually go as fast as you'd think unless you're really making use of that quick turning. But what we're about to be doing with this level actually makes a lot of use of what I just explained. Because the Transform Star can transform from a bike form with higher boost and a gliding form with less boost. So you can actually get pretty good use out of switching between the forms to extend the length of your boost.
Freeze!
So Rick is the turning heavyweight. Each of the heavyweights kind of has like a different function. Rick has a higher grip stat, which kind of lets him make turns more tightly, and he's one of the other fast characters. And it's also a big part of why he's like the best heavy in City Trial. I mean, straight up the best character as well in City Trial. Yeah, this is the first like kind of technical map. This map is hard. These panels will also, like, spin you around, which makes it hard to turn. I'm having to do a lot of small boost charges there in order to, like, redirect myself. I miss inputting a lot. My brain said, oh yeah, let's kill that enemy, and we get a speed boost, and it didn't cost me, like, a shit ton of time.
Final lap! Freeze!
Yeah, nearing the end there, we got a lot of mileage out of prolonging our boost with the Transform Star instead of the Transform Bike. And because you quick spin to change your form, this is the one machine that doesn't lose speed while spinning. So this is like 218, 220 pace. Try to do something there? The game didn't let me. didn't know that I can't do the fire boost forward on Transform Star. Maybe I can, but for some reason it just transformed me instead of doing that. I thought the copy ability would have taken priority. Yeah, we're gonna maintain our speed really good here. If we managed to get that Blade Knight, which gives you an automatic like sword attack, we probably would have kept our speed faster, because when you start to inhale, you lose a bit of speed. Next up is the shortest map, Happy Hydra. So the thing with the Hydra is much like a Bulk Star, which we'll get to later. The Hydra has a fuel mechanic.
Hydra.
And if you have full fuel, you're gonna accelerate to like 3 times the top speed of the next fastest vehicle pretty much immediately. Just keep going that until you run out of fuel. And Cappy has the highest charge stat in the game, so he builds up that fuel faster because it's based off your charge meter. And because this is the simplest map, and actually quite a long map normally, that high top speed, the ability to go so fast that turning means nothing, is really useful. Yeah, normally that takes like, with the next fastest combination, that takes like 45 seconds. So, we're almost out of fuel, so let's charge it up again. Oh, I messed up though. I need practice. I took that turn bad. I'm going to recharge my fuel again just so we get a little bit more. Yeah, that was like 4 seconds behind where it should have been. So next is actually an interesting routing decision. I haven't been seeing anyone else do this in No Dupes, but it's the crux of my new route, and it's Knuckle Joe Leo on Florida. Normally people think like it'll be like on Crystalline Fissure, which is the first new map we're getting to, but I think Knuckle Joe on Leo is really good because it's like even with Chef Kawasaki Rocket for fastest vehicle on this map that isn't Hydra or Dragoon. And it's like the next thing after that is like 10 seconds slower. This is a map statistically where Leo saves the most time over any other vehicle.
3, 2, 1, start!
Because it's like even with Rocket. Yeah.
Fire!
But basically, Knuckle Joe's like fast and like relatively compared to Leo gets so much of its speed boost from its strong handling and the fact that that auto attack it has, that claw swipe is really good for gaining speed boost. That I'm not that picky about what my character choice is here. I'm more so concerned about just using my faster characters elsewhere, but I still wanted a kind of fast character for Leo, so I like using Knuckle Joe Leo. Because he's faster than the characters, like, he's the fastest of the characters that aren't super
Final lap.
Yeah, basically with Leo we want to chain that attack over and over again to get boosts, like a discount rockets, like a discount Chef Rocket. Because that attack has so much damage, this attack. I haven't even, like, started routing this level in terms of what movement I should do. And this is crushing every other vehicle I'm doing by, like, 15 seconds. Next is Wave Flow Bulk. I actually discovered a speedrun tactic on this map, but unfortunately it's for a vehicle we're not using here. And I need to upload a video of that sometime, but you can do, like, cool jumps with the tank style, but we're using the Bulk. Which is like, what if the Hydra was designed to not be broken? Really high top speed as long as you can maintain your fuel. And Roach is just a generally fast character. Current world record uses it here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using it here, but I just don't know where else I would use Bulk, to be honest. It's hard to judge Bulk because all the best Bulk Star times have to do with Chef Kawasaki, who changes how vehicles function so much in terms of the boost changing. Folk is also just a vehicle I'm really bad with. So we'll see how that goes. That was clean. Yeah, our fuel slowly regenerates as bulk star whenever we're off the ground. So you can use that sometimes. I don't know how to make that turn straight, I'll be honest. Bulk is one of the vehicles I'm worst with. Case in point, the way I made that turn was not good. But we are on incredible pace right now, relative to usual. I've only done one actual run where I use this combination. Fuck, I messed that up. Yeah, I had a very messy last, like, 30 seconds there. Next is DDD Chariot. I used to use Rick Really Scooter here. Honestly, just being able to use Rick on Checker Nights is really nice. As the name implies, this is a very aerial-focused map, but not as much as you think, which is why we're using,
Chariot.
Chariot on DDD. DDD is like the attacking heavy, like kind of. DDD is the heavy where it's like he has a big, strong automatic attack with his hammer as you like approach enemies.
3, 2, 1, start.
So DDD is very fast, very strong, kills enemies really easily. And the Chariot is just kind of like an alternative to the wheelie scooter. As you see here, it takes a big jump whenever it boosts. Which is kind of convenient on this level. But the important thing for us to know is I'm bad with it. And that it controls well. Yeah, if we do it a little bit better there, we can go through that ring without bumping our head on it, which is kind of what we're going for. Yeah, this turn is a bit awkward to make. I used to like the Chariot a lot more, but to be honest, it just controls awkward in general because you do that every time you get airtime.
Final lap.
Okay, then get that Bronto Bird inhale. I need to remember how to do that. Yeah, the swords, honestly, usually the copy abilities are better than your auto attack, even if you do have a good auto attack. Like, DDD has a good auto. It's like only Leo. It's only with Leo that I would choose the auto attack, just because the range is so big and it kills basically every enemy you gotta worry about. Yeah, it is a very bad run. Tried to do something cheeky there, it didn't work. Yeah, that was a really bad run. Those are the types of times I got when I was just starting out with this category. So Crystalline Fissure, I'm the only person I know of that uses Chef Rocket here.
Chef Kawasaki.
And it's because I used to use Leo here, but I moved Leo elsewhere. But yeah. Rocket Star is really good at like chaining its boosts together. if you can get like a good boost. And Chef Kawasaki is really good at that because he can just grab enemies from so far away. However far away you think you can grab enemies, it's farther. Fun fact, in my world record, this is also world where the capture card was messed out back when I was using the, an older route I was using. Yeah, as you probably saw there, we grabbed that enemy from a long way away, and I actually forgot, it's been a while, I'm rusty, I forgot to get rid of that, needle there, so I'm trying to improv here. Normally I'm supposed to have needle here. I could have gotten rid of my ability and then grabbed that other enemy. Yeah, for reference, the world record for this course is already on the next section about 10 seconds ago. We're like 10% seconds behind already. This is a very bad run. My PB is like, overall, like 25 seconds behind. I'm not good at this map. This is the hardest map in the speedrun. Wherever you put Chef Kawasaki with Rocket is going to be the hardest map of the game. Because it's a very like high pace, kind of technical combination. I need to mess with my controller somewhere because I definitely did the boost there and didn't get anything. Yeah, Mike just kills a lot of enemies, which is often good for getting big boost. Which I'm not good at. This is like a level I need to practice the most. Like, half the time I'm missing in terms of getting world record on this map is like just from this. Just from this. Yeah, if we like pump our brakes, we can turn a bit better because Rocket Star has pretty good brake pumping. None of that was intentional. Yeah, let's maintain our speed a bit there. Considering how bad that wasn't the worst. Next is Taranza Wagon, which I used to use Taranza Wheelie Scooter on Machine Passage from earlier. I used to use Chef Rocket here, but I think the next best combination I have is Taranza on the Wagon. So the cool thing about Wagon is that it's really good for custom vehicle combinations. And the old Veridi from Kid Icarus Uprising. Unfortunately, I think it's the most boring vehicle in the game to use. Because it just doesn't interact with the game's mechanics. Like, every other vehicle is, like, playing a different game. Almost entirely based off how their drifting functions. Wagon Star, as you can see here, doesn't do that. I lost a couple of seconds there showing that off, that's fine. But something about Taranza feels actually kind of nice. Especially because we can use our web sling there to actually maintain, to, like, both get speed boost and help return. I'm not really good at it. I don't know what routing I should be using. Yeah, let's just drag ourselves towards that rail. We could be doing a lot faster. We are on an extremely slow pace right now. Yeah, we really want to get that golden boost panel.
Final lap.
That felt quicker. I don't know what I did, but it felt quicker. Yeah, Trans is decently fast, plus you get these webbings, which is just nice. Chef Rocket is the fastest combination I could be using here, but again, it's super important where you push that. We got a lot of boost height-wise, so it's important that I aim downwards here. Okay, at least we didn't fall down, but yeah, no, we missed a big jump there. I'm cautiously looking at my OBS because I'm paranoid because I've lost multiple world record pace runs to my capture card just giving up. New capture card too. Anyways, now for the last legendary machine. There is another legendary machine, but it's like City Trial and Story Mode exclusive because it's bigger than most of the racetracks. Gigantus. Yeah, we're gonna use Meta Knight Dragoon here. If this is dominant on the ground, this is dominant in the air. It is definitively the fastest flight vehicle. If Hydra is better Bulk Star, this is better Wing Star. I think in City Trial, Paper Star has its advantages, but I think Paper Star is the best flight vehicle for fucking stats and maneuverability. Okay, we actually already fucked up a strategy. I was supposed to turn around there because there's a ramp we're going to use to get speed, but I was too busy yapping. So let's just go for this ramp instead. As you can see, we are going about 100 kilometers an hour. Yeah, no, this is a horrible run right now. We could be going 4 seconds faster already. This is the hardest part, so I'm actually going to play it safe. It's actually pretty hard to get that boost there, and sometimes when you go into that corner, you just get sent backwards if you go at the wrong angle. Yeah, back to this Paper Star though. In City Trial, I actually kind of like Paper Star for collecting stats, because this Dragoon just doesn't have that much handling. If you get Dragoon in City Trial, you're basically hoping to use it for,
Final lap.
like a final event and not really as a stat collector. Paper Star is really good for stat collecting. Yeah, Meta Knight, I believe, is the highest flight speed character in the game. I mean, Marks is up there. I think Meta Knight outspeeds him there. Starman is really good at staying in the air, but his flight speed isn't exactly the best. I have considered using Marks here because it might be easier because Marks is also less heavy, meaning he can stay in the air easier, and I think that consistency would be nice. Yeah, this is gonna be like a 152. 151, which I think says a lot about how bad I am at this map, because that run felt horrible. I was doing everything slowly, I was getting limited airtime. I was only like 5 seconds behind my gold split and like 10 seconds behind the time trial record. So not bad, not bad. Next is, I believe, Rocky Slick. Yeah. So Rocky is the best character in the game at maintaining his speed because his acceleration is just stupidly low. There's going to be a point in this map where you really get to see how much speed you maintain as Rocky, because we're going to come off these grind rails and we're just going to go like 70 kilometers an hour for like 3 seconds. It's going to be crazy. Slickstar is a decently fast, decent gliding vehicle that like doesn't really... that like charges its boost pretty quickly, which means I can do stuff like turn around that corner pretty tightly, and it doesn't really lose speed when you're like touch into a wall. It doesn't lose that much speed. Okay, yeah, we kept our speed really good there. But yeah, this and Tank Star don't really lose their speed much from being around walls.
Fighter.
But Slick Star is also the hardest to control, because if you notice here, I don't really stop, like, at all when I try and turn. I know there's someone who's, like, crazy good with Slick Star, beating, like, all the time trial world records with Slick Star, and it's, like, kind of insane. I need to watch more of their time trials to know what I'm doing here, because right now we're on, like, pretty bad pace. Like, this vehicle is so hard combination. There's a pretty decent, like, I forget who made it, but they made a, like, what, 200 hours of Slick Star compilation looks like. And it's like, that compilation is more of a blooper reel than, like, a highlight reel, which is kind of a joke. Cause yeah, they're 200 hours in with this vehicle, and even there, it's like, they make a lot of dumb mistakes, like people do. I don't think it's the same person who's, like, a super epic Slick Star expert. I think it's Kinzo who's, like, a Slick Star person. Yeah, when we're tiny here, because you have the choice between, like, tiny and not, you build your boost charge really nice, like, quickly there. Yeah, Plasma is basically just there for us to get our boost for off those enemies. That's a really clean last section there. That's a new PB for my character with this course, but I can be doing this like 30 seconds faster. This is a hard map with a hard character and character vehicle combination. And Slick Star is one of those vehicles where if you just go a little bit, if you just do one thing slightly differently, you save like 3 or 4 seconds from just slightly better execution. Really cool vehicle, I like it a lot. Next is Magalore, because he's decently fast, and I didn't know where else to put him. Onga Wheelie Bike, a decently well-rounded vehicle. I used to use Rocky Chariot, because this is a really turn-based course, and you can get a lot of speed with Rocky going around those corners on the Chariot, which again, as we mentioned earlier, turns well. So you drift with the Chariot, build up boost with Rocky, and then you just keep the speed a long time because you're Rocky. If we're using Rocky elsewhere, this is also a pretty good combination. If I don't mess it up entirely. Because the Wheelie Bike is just kind of like your standard, like, Mario Kart vehicle. It's the most... I would say it's the most... This and the Warp Star are, like, the vehicles that are meant to be well-rounded. Like, there's a few different bikes, and this is the well-rounded bike. And there's a few different stars, and the Warp Star, which we'll get to in the next level, actually, is the, well-rounded star. Which actually makes the Warp Star pretty important in terms of no dupes, because it's one of the better vehicles on every map. It's never the fastest vehicle, but it's always decent. And I chose it for the next map, because I just think the next map is the most well-rounded course in terms of all the different stats to test. So having all those stats is really important. And I messed that up entirely, so let's go ahead and do that to make up for my missed bomb placement. I was too busy yapping. I need to get better at commentating. It's been a while since I commentated. We're gonna get this cutter here. Try to chain these multiple enemies. Yeah, I'm really out of practice. That was really bad. I can get like sub 120. I'm not good with this combination on this map, but I could have done really good there, and I just didn't. So yeah, next map is gonna be Lololo and Lalala on Warp Star. They're a decently fast character. Warp Star is a decently fast vehicle, and another one of those vehicles that's good for
Warp Star.
character for customization, I have a cute Adeline from Kirby 64 one here. Hard to see with Lolo and Lala setting on it. Yeah, Lolo and Lala have this really interesting gimmick where if you quick spin, nothing happens. Like, basically, you do normal attack and you get all the benefits of it. And they swap places, but them swapping places doesn't do anything. Yeah, this is the final map of the run. Yeah, we had enough speed there and enough weight because we're actually heavier than we look, where we can just kind of crash into an enemy and that counts as doing damage. We wanted a boost range there, but I slightly missed it. This is a hard course and I'm out of practice. I am ecstatic if I get a sub 2. Well, I could get like sub 150 with enough practice. Again, this is a hard map. I forget if I have enough glide to get up here. Okay, I can, but I went too high. Yeah, I'm just experimenting right now. I need to practice more. Yeah, we're gonna enter this guardrail section. This music reminds me of Chrono Trigger right here. Now it's Mark's screen.
Freeze!
That was bad. So yeah, we could be on to the next section right now, but what we just experienced is a section of the map I'm worst at. That's actually where I lose most of my time compared to where I could be getting. So yeah, these boost panels here, they just give us boosts, but you can only get like the boost once per panel. I used to use Susie's Shadow Star here, which is a pretty decent combination. Oh yeah, I haven't mentioned it yet, but you can quick spin for like invincibility frames. I tried to experiment there and it didn't work. Okay, we're not getting the sub 2.
Fire!
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not getting the big burst forward with that fire. That's the second time I've tried it, and the second time I failed. We are way behind. Okay, let's just get these boosts. They fall in a kind of set pattern. That is like cycle-based. You gotta go fast enough to get throughout the rest of the course to get the cycle. They give you a big burst of speed, especially if you chain them. But yeah, that's the run. I think it's a pretty fun run. There's a lot of development going on right now. This game has a lot of categories, so even though it has a lot of runners, each category is kind of unexplored. And there's a lot of interesting developments going on right now. Hopefully I'll be better by the time the run actually happens. But this has been a fun time. I will see y'all next time.